Okay, welcome to another series of the Creatively Grateful live coding session. Today, we are going to be looking at implementing the algorithm for finding the next billing cycle date of a given subscription for various time units. For example, we are going to be writing a function that given a particular time unit like daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, and a period length, the function should be able to give us the next time that particular subscription will reoccur. So without wasting much time, let's hit the window and let's get coding. So I'm going to create a file called billing. It's going to be written in PHP. And before I start writing any function, we need to explain a couple of uh, I will need to explain some keywords that we will be using so that I'll make things clear. We'll have something called a start epoch. A start epoch is actually the starting date for a given subscription. Take for example, if somebody is subscribing to a service today, which is the 18th of July 2015, the epoch is going to be today's date as a timestamp. We also have a last epoch. This is particularly used for if, for example, somebody subscribed last month and 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 this month you're trying to calculate the next subscription and you have the last epoch. So the end date of the last the end date of the last subscription time is going to be used as the last epoch here. So that is that. And we also have time units. Time units refers to the various units like daily, weekly, monthly, and then yearly. You could as well extend this to quarterly if you're interested in implementing quarterly, but we are not going to be looking at that today. And then we'll have what is called period. Period is used to indicate how each time unit is going to reoccur. For example, if we are working with weekly and we set a period of 2, we set the period to be 2, that means that the subscriptions will reoccur every 2 weeks. If we are working with monthly and we set the period to be 4, that means that the subscriptions should occur every 4 months. So these are the key words that I will need to clarify before we go into coding. So we're going to write a function which we are going to call get next billing date, and this function is going to accept start epoch, last epoch, unit, which is the time unit, and then the period. Okay, so for a first time subscription, we will definitely not have a last epoch. So what we'll do is, if the last epoch is not defined, we'll set the last epoch to be the start epoch. So for us to do that, the first thing to do is to check if the start epoch is defined. If it's not defined, we write a message on the screen and then return. If start epoch is not defined, then I'll put an error message. If we don't have last epoch, if last epoch is not defined, set last epoch to be the same thing as start epoch. If period is not defined, we assume periods to be 1. Now we need to define all time units so that we'll have something we work with. Non units. Daily, we'll have a duration of 1. Weekly, we'll have a duration of 7, which actually implies that a week consists of 7 days. Monthly, we'll have a duration of 1. We cannot use 30, 28, or 31 because days in months are not consistent. Yearly, we'll have a duration of 1 as well. So first thing we do is to check if the given unit is within the range of the defined unit. If it's not, we output an error message and then return. If not, that array key exists. Units and non-units, then we'll output a message. So get the unit duration, get the duration for the given units we're interested in. Now, the final unit that we will be making use of to do our calculation will actually be a product of the period and the unit duration. So we'll have duration will actually be what? Duration multiplied by period. Okay, so because we are working in a multiple time units, we are going to be using the switch statements to deal with each time unit. So switch units. If we are dealing with daily or weekly, we need to increment. Okay, well, before we get to this place, I need to do some things at the top here. Okay, alright, so start, new date time, start epoch, last, new date time, last epoch. Now we need to pick out 3 parameters, which is the year, the month, the day, and then minutes, hour, minute, and seconds. We'll pick out the year and the month from the last epoch, the last timestamp. So we'll say year and large.format, month, and last.format. For the day, we'll pick the day from the start epoch. and then we'll pick out the hour, minute, and seconds. Hour, minute, seconds from the start epoch to, which will help us to calculate the exact time, and exact minutes, hour, and seconds that the first subscription date was billed, so that we'll bill at the same time for subsequent subscriptions. Okay, with these things set, so here, if we are dealing with either daily or weekly subscription, we need to increment the day by the duration period that we calculated above. If we are dealing with monthly, we need to increment the months by the duration we calculated above. And if we are dealing with yearly, we need to increment the year by the duration we calculated above as well. And if peradventure we don't have a valid time unit, so we need to return an error, unknown time units, then return. Okay, now this is where we pay careful attention. Now we increase the day if we are dealing with daily and weekly, and we increase the month if we are dealing with monthly, and we increase the year if we are dealing with yearly. Now the next thing we find out is if the day overflows 31, we need to reduce it to a valid date. So we do that by first checking if day is greater than 31. Now what we'll do is to get the number of days in the last billing month. We'll make use of that to get the actual date for the payment. So what we'll do is number of days will give us last format T. That'll give us the number of days in the last time the subscription billed. Now while day is greater than 31, keep reducing day by subtracting the number of days from it. So number of days, and then increment the months for each time we iterate. So if we are done with that, then we are out. Next we check if the month overflows 12, we need to reset the month to 1 and then increment the year by 1. If month is greater than 12, then we'll reset month to 1, then increment the year. Once we've done all this computation, we will need to adjust the date until it falls within a valid date that we can consider as a date that a subscription can bill. For us to do that, I'll adjust the dates like this. Next, new date time, the year, the month, the day, hour, minute, seconds, and then we're working with UTC. If the month is equal to the current month, we are all set to go. Break. Otherwise, keep decreasing the day. Once we are done with this, we need to return the next billing date as in timestamp format, so that we can actually format it ourselves. Now with this done, let's see if we have an error. before we write a test script for this. With this all set, what we need to do now is to write a test, some test parameters that will test this for us. So at the bottom of the script, I'm going to write some couple of tests, and let's do some stuff here. Verbs. Let's create an array, then set time units with for a day. Let's assume that we are dealing with 12 days. In the next 12 days for daily subscription, let's find out what the next billing date will be after 12 days. For weekly subscription, let's find out what the next billing date will be after say 14 weeks. For monthly subscription, let's find out what the next billing date will be after 7 months. And then for yearly subscription, let's find out what the next billing year will be after 5 years. So we are going to be in a loop. We iterate via a loop for each verbs as time units, period. So next, get next billing date. I'll say start at. We are going to create start at later. Let me just finish writing this out. We don't have next billing, the last billing day, so we'll set that to null. The unit is going to be time units, and then the period is going to be period. So we're going to say echo for from this date after periods from this date after periods in time units, the next billing dates will be next dates. So \n, so I'll move to the next line. So at the top we are going to say start at to be string to time, string to time, date. Today is 18th, so let's give it today's date and see how it goes. Today is 2015, 18 2015 07 18. So next, and then next dates will be equal to dates, the year, the month, and the day of next. Then we'll have this. So when we'll have this, it means we are ready to go. So we should run a test and see how it goes. If we have an error, we'll sort it out and then let's see how this performs. So PHP billing.php. Okay, we have error, so we'll fix the error and then rerun the code again. So where did we use array fill keys? I'm not sure we did. It's not supposed to be array fill keys. if not array key exists. That's what I wanted to type. If not array key exists, and do that. So let's rerun the code again. Clear fix. Okay, notice undefined variable this day. All right, this day is not defined, so let's go down and fix that. Um, this day is meant to be this. Let's say this date. Let's set it to 2015 0718, and then we'll pass it to string to time, so that it converts it to timestamp, which is what we're expecting to pass to the function. Then let's rerun the code again, see how it does. Okay, so we have an output. So from the 18th July 18th 2015, after 12 days using daily subscription, the next billing date will be on the 30th of July. Is that correct? Today is 18. After 12 days, what would it be? 30th. That is correct. Okay, so starting from the 18th of July 2015, after 14 weeks, what the next billing date going to be? We have October 23rd. How possible is October 23rd? A month consists of 4 weeks approximately. So if we take out 4 weeks from here, we are going to have 12, 8, 8, 12, 8. That's 4 weeks. We're adding 4 months to the current month. Approximately 4 months. Yeah, approximately 4 months. So it's correct. The second one is correct. The third one, after 7 months, starting from the 18th of July 2015, after 7 months, it's going to be 1st of January for 17th January 2016, which is correct. Now, starting on the 18th of July 2015, after 5 years, it's going to be 2018. So this is the algorithm for handling subscription, for calculating the next billing date, given a particular billing date and a time unit. I hope you enjoy this live coding session. I look forward to seeing you in the next live coding session.